The sound is interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's cool because then I wish our conversations were all like this. So you can actually hear yourself and the other person.
Yeah, I sound kind of cute. Oh.
Welcome back to the coolest, bestest show in the world. I'm here with a great human, a great spiritual human. I'm here with
Sarah Baytop Scott.
Hey!
Or outside of Utah, I just go by Baytop. That's like my brand, a creative brand.
Baytop. Okay,
it comes from England.
What do you do, Sarah?
Currently still a hermit. COVID hit and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I like this. So I went underground. Moved to Guatemala. I was on this really deep spiritual journey the last few years, especially in Guatemala. I was like, I'm never coming back to the United States. Like, I'm done with consumerism. I'm done with people. I don't want anyone to know me. Deleted everything off Instagram. There's 3 photos. My whole identity. People are like, who are you? I'm like, I don't know. Who am I? And then I did this meditation. This meditation was like, hey, you have too many skills and talents. You need to get back into the workforce. I hit up one of my friends who's like the top 8 women in crypto. And I just said, hey, I'm looking to work for a blockchain crypto company. Do you know anyone hiring? She's like, actually, I do. I got brought on as a co-founder and chief creative officer for this company called Nifty. You know Yelp?
Yeah.
So we're building the Yelp of NFTs. So we're building like legitimacy, trust, and security, and we're a plug-in to marketplaces.
That's so dope.
It's very cool.
So you're an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur, yes.
Woman goddess.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Feminine goddess.
I love this because Sarah's actually the first female guest on this show.
Woohoo.
And I'm so happy because I've been wanting to have more females. I feel like Utah is very like whole sausage fest here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want more females to thrive and
and
of course get paid more. You're from here, right? You were born here.
Oh, no. I'm originally from Alabama.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I grew up between Rhode Island and Alabama when my parents divorced when I was 4.
Wow, how was that?
I mean, it was a shit show.
Oh,
my dad is, he's a really interesting character. I haven't seen him since I was 14.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's a very long time. But just like one of those radical Christians, like picket outside abortion clinics, hated everyone who didn't like believe by the Bible. Very, very wild.
I can like kind of connect with that.
Yeah.
Growing up, I was super religious. Not Mormon, but I was very, very religious. And I can understand when you say that it was like, people who don't believe in this, they're not a part of this.
Yeah. I remember I'd go down to his house and he would like throw out all my toys and books and everything.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because it was the devil. Crazy stuff. But then I go back to my mom's in Rhode Island and she's like, oh, that's an interesting summer. And she just kind of bounced around, did whatever. But it was a pretty interesting childhood. I believe that we're born into the families that we're born into. And we can either continue to be depressed and all of this stuff and blame our families for everything. Or we can say, wow, I was born into this family to learn all these lessons.
Yeah.
So I could become a better human being.
It's funny you say that because my family's been like that. For the longest time, we were very closed off. We would never hug each other. That's how crazy it was.
That's how my family was. I was never hugged. Physical
never.
touch is my love language now.
Me too. And then because I never had it probably. I don't know.
Same.
We would never talk about things. It was just like my parents worked really hard. And they're angels. They probably didn't know how to, parent.
Yeah, they were living in trauma themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so much trauma. Trust me.
Same.
When I understood what they went through, I was like, wow, it was crazy. But nowadays, maybe 2 years ago, I started thinking I got to break this cycle, right? I started hugging my dad and I started hugging my mom. Conversations for like 5 hours long and just talking like, what did you go through? Why are you like this? They would like spill it all out. And I was like, oh my God, there's a reason why I'm like this. I heard a quote that said, if you don't heal yourself from your parents, your kids will have to heal from you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Our DNA vibrates at a higher level when we heal.
Exactly.
And our children are born with higher vibrational DNA.
Now I'm like, I hug my dad every day, my mom, my brother, my sister.
Yeah, we fear death too.
Yes.
Death isn't that scary.
It's going to happen.
I believe in past lives and future lives. We're all aliens. And this is a giant simulation. And so like when I die, I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just be reborn somewhere. Like, it's not that big of a deal. This lifetime is so small.
It really is.
In comparison to how many lives we live.
Yeah.
We probably have known each other in past lives.
Probably.
Yeah.
I feel like energy always goes back to each other. Always. There's a lot of people that I don't even talk to anymore. But for some reason, it's like, oh, Sarah, again.
Yeah.
You know that there's a reason
Maikon.
why. You know what I mean? There's always a reason why. Why did you move here?
I would spend my summers in Alabama until like 14. And then I spent my school years in Rhode Island. And I had this dream. Like I was like a poor kid. We grew up on welfare, right? Mm-hmm. And I saved up all my money. I watched Johnny Tsunami. Have you seen that movie on Disney?
Johnny Tsunami.
It was like 20-something years ago.
So familiar.
And I was like, oh my God, I need to snowboard. That needs to be my life. Like I'm just like this poor ass kid, you know? So I saved up all my money. I did like all these random dares to get money. Like I did whatever I did to make this money to buy a snowboard and a snowboard pass. Just snowboarding all the time. I'd like skip school in like middle school and high school, pay for a bus and go up to like New Hampshire. There was like 4 hours away and just snowboard all day.
Wow.
And then I became like a professional snowboard instructor in high school so I could get free passes. And then I started competing in snowboarding. And I was like, Mom, I'm not going to college. I'm just going to snowboard. And she's like, fuck you. You're going to college. And I was like, no, I don't really want to. So then I applied to colleges that were like within 30 minutes of the ski resort. And that's how I ended up in Utah.
Oh,
so my first day of freshman orientation, I thought Salt Lake City would be like ocean away from home, you know? And I looked over to the person next to me. I'm like, hey, why is no one swimming in the lake? And she's like, honey, no one swims in the lake. I'm like, what the fuck? I had only Googled ski resorts. I had no idea what I was moving into. I thought this place was a giant forest. And then someone's like, it's a desert. I'm like, what? And then I just randomly ended up in Utah and I could never afford to fly back home. So I was like kind of fucking stuck here. And I saw so many blonde people with blue eyes. I just started calling them all Ashley. I'm like, hey, Ashley. And that's not my name. I'm like, yeah, but statistically speaking, I feel like
most Ashleys are here.
Yes.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and that was like my introductory to Utah. I mean, it took a lot to get here. Just years of like suicidal depression, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, like toxic relationships, shitty, poor life choices. But now that I have like healed from so much of that trauma that I was born into, but also self-inflicted, right? It's been eye-opening.
What's the steps that you would tell somebody watching, a young kid, 20 years old, 19, right after high school? What would you tell them the steps are to get to that mindset?
Honestly, I think it's really important to get out of where you live.
Yes, that's
get out
very
of
true.
the state, but also, you know, we're born into so much trauma across the world, right? We have so many unhealed individuals and no one's ever fully healed unless they're Jesus. Some of us have to learn these hard life lessons, but just learn them quick, experience life. And when you go to a developing nation where they don't speak your language, there's so much truth that smacks you in the face.
So much.
Because like think about where you grew up. It's so different. The way of life is so different.
But it's scary because even though I know how hard that was for me growing up, I still went through that whole thing once I got here.
Okay. So I guess you can go anywhere.
Anywhere. Like I didn't understand. Like I came from a very, very poor environment, right? Here, Utah, I was like, whoa, this was like the promised land.
Yeah.
Right?
This is a mecca.
Yeah, but then I got used to it. And then I became just like anybody here.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I was like, wow. Oh my goodness. And then I got used to it. And then I actually went back to my country and I was like, wow. Again, I was like, oh, and it started hitting me. It's like you've been spoiled. And that helped me a lot.
And we have a very privileged life here in America.
Yes, we do.
I remember like just being in Guatemala and crying because like I saw like 8-year-old kids having to work to like afford food. And it's like, that never happens in the US, you know? And so we have so many privileges and a lot of these things that we're depressed about. Depression is a sign that you aren't living your truth.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Facts.
90% of people, even though the mental health industry will say, well, it's a chemical imbalance. No, it's a truth imbalance.
I just got goosebumps because I've heard the saying that depression just means deep rest.
Yeah.
You need a deep rest from whatever avatar you created.
Yeah.
Because you're not living your truth.
Depression is fear of the past.
Yes.
Anxiety is fear of the future. A lot of these expectations are also like what we put on ourselves that we don't need. And when we remove ourselves, we can finally like start to unravel that.
Let's speak on your trip, Sarah.
Oh, what trip?
Guatemala.
Oh, yeah, Guatemala.
How crazy was that? Because I remember when it happened, we didn't know where you were going. You were just like, hey, guys, I'm doing this.
I disappeared for a whole year off social media.
Yeah, me too. So I get you. I get what you went through, right? That's why when you started posting about it, I was like, oh, this is going to be dope when it's done.
Yeah, so I had my first spiritual awakening was 2017. And that's when I switched from being a victim in my life to being in charge of my life.
Dope.
I'm like, oh my God, I can heal myself. Everything that's wrong, my depression, my anxiety, is because of me. I get to change my mindset. But then was really dedicated to mindfulness and mental health and all that stuff. COVID hit and all of that. And I don't know if it was like going inward or whatever, but I wasn't really meditating. I wasn't doing anything. And I woke up September 19th, 2020. I didn't know who I was anymore. Every single dream, everything I had ever wanted in my life was gone in an instant. I didn't know if I was funny. I couldn't talk to my friends for like a month and a half because every time I talked, I would just start crying or I couldn't vocalize anything. It was like this weird void. Inside this void that I was in, this voice kept coming to me and said, you have 7 years, wake up, you have 7 years. And I was like, what the fuck is that voice? I was like, am I crazy? Am I a crazy person? And I was really fucking angry because a lot of people, they like evolve into consciousness. They're meditating and they're doing all this stuff. It's like an evolution. And mine was just like a wake up one night. Everything I knew was a lie. It was a sudden enlightenment of sorts. It actually feels like a death of your soul. And so that's why I deleted everything off Instagram and just like pieced out because I didn't know who I was anymore. And so I spent like months like really angry at the universe. I was like, fuck you, ancestors. Fuck you, spirit guides. Like I was just like going off and I was like, why would you do this to me? Like, I didn't get to choose this life. I want my old goals back. I want my old life back. August hit. I said, okay, I give up. I'm done being angry. I said, what's next, world? I did a meditation. They said, you need to move to South America. And I was like, what? Like you need to move to whatever the voice was. I don't know. I sold everything. Wow. I literally have 2 suitcases to my name. I don't have anything. All my furniture, my apartment. I actually wasn't going to go. I went to like 2 different psychics and a medium because I was like, I can't do this. I can't let my dogs go. And they're like, you have to. Like, this is your... It almost makes you never want to get animals again because I'm so emotionally attached to them. But I did it because it seemed like that's what the world was aligning to, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. It's a tough decision if you ever have to rehome pets. But anyways, I get to Guatemala and I'm working for this nonprofit. I'm at this town and they're like, hey, don't go over to this like neighboring town. It's a bunch of hippies. And I was like, oh, do they do drugs? There was like this huge ceremony I went to and I was like, these are my people. So I moved over there and I found out it was one of the most spiritual communities in the entire world.
Wow.
It was some of the world leading people in like healing, some of the top people who are creating conscious music, top musicians in the world in the spiritual community. And they're all centered here in this little hub that I was at. It was just such a beautiful experience of being one with nature, learning about indigenous roots, and also becoming really curious about my own indigenous roots.
It's crazy what going somewhere else and seeing other people live and interact, seeing other versions of you because we're all humans, right? No matter what
we're not even real.
Yeah, exactly.
This is just one bodysuit you
That's what I'm saying. It's like, what the heck is going on? You go back to the ground. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And you just turn into ground again, like dirt. So what makes you real? You're not plugged into anything.
Nothing.
You're just there.
You're just loving, connecting, healing.
I was like maybe 20 when I found out. I didn't get it back then, but now I really get it. All of us are born happy.
Oh, 110%.
God or the universe never wanted none of us to be unhappy.
No, we're never meant to be.
As time goes on, things that happen to your life try to take that away from you.
Yeah.
That's the reason why a lot of people are sad or depressed. They have been taking the happiness away from them.
Yeah.
You have to stop letting other things take it away from you and just add on to it.
Yeah. And find people who are happy, like truly happy, because a lot of us were never taught what true love is of self, of others, and our community.
Do you believe happiness is just peace at the end of the day?
110%.
Right? If you ask anybody, what's your happiness? Like, oh, I just want to be sitting down in a beach in Guatemala or something, right?
Go do it.
Right. But the thing is that I would say, it's like, that's not happiness. That's peace that you want.
That's peace, yeah.
And everybody wants happiness. And it's like, no, it doesn't exist. It's peace that we all want.
People spend an entire life to build a retirement and 401k just for peace. When literally you could have a $15 an hour virtual job teaching English and have a house that you paid off. You spend $25 a week for food in like another country. Yes, exactly. And you'd be full peace.
One thing that I learned too was that the pursuit of happiness is fucking up our world.
Yeah, it's the wrong pursuit. It's a dopamine pursuit.
The reason why our food is fucked up is because somebody decided that their pursuit of happiness was making them millions of dollars. That's why our food is everything is not good, because they cutting cost because it makes them more money. That's their pursuit of happiness.
And they're putting chemicals into everything.
Exactly, because it's cheaper and they get more money. I believe that the pursuit of happiness fucked us up.
For sure.
And we need to find peace. Sarah,
thank you.
It's been a beautiful time. You always have the craziest, most amazing freaking energy.
Thank you.
What do you want to tell the viewers? What's something you want to express to them?
Pause more. Pause a lot more. That's the best thing we can do right now in society. Everyone wants to get ahead and go do everything, but just pause a month, 3 months, 6 months. Like just take a long pause from life.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much going on. There's so much information. It's like, oh.
And even if that pause is like getting off social media get off for 90 days.
You can go back, but with the better mindset. Just get out,
Get out. Read a book. Find a book.
Shout out to our sponsors, Verity Esports.
Hey.
And I'm wearing a Purple Aura today.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this is...
Sounds like a weed brand.
Purple aura.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody watching. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with
Woohoo.
us.
Thank you.
With this beautiful energy, you know. Tune in next time. Have a beautiful day and
peace and love.
Peace and love forever.
Okay. Bye.
Peace.